Welcome back, everybody, to Synalytics Crypto. My name's Mike. I've got a ton of news to go over with you today. Gosh, there's so much news going on, I can't even put it all in one episode. I've got several tabs open. We're going to get right into it, you guys, in just 1 second. Thank you for joining me here today. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do, or give me a thumbs up, or do both, or leave a comment. Do all three. That'd be amazing. Real quick, before we get into this news, a lot of it's very, very important. And at the end of this segment, I'm going to go on yet another billionaire person rant that I do here, often on Synalytics Crypto. So I'll save that for the end in case you don't want to hear it. But if you want to stick around for it, cool. So the market is about 1.551 trillion. So we are definitely slipping from the 1.6 to 1.7 range. We are still in a bit of a downtrend. I said in yesterday's or the day before's video that there's been a lot of sentiment that the bull run's about to continue here. And you have to be very cautious of that because YouTubers just like to make content to get clicks and views, guys. Some of them, they post negative stuff and it gets a lot of views. Some of them just stick to the positive stuff and the Moon Boy stuff and that gets a lot of views. I don't do either one of those here, you guys. I just try to propose questions and try to keep a balanced perspective of what's going on. So in that video I made a couple days ago, I did say, hey, look, don't get too optimistic yet. We are still not recovered fully, anywhere near fully, from this bear trend. Not a bear market, guys, but a bear trend within a bull market. There's a huge difference. And just that, we've gone down a little bit. Bitcoin ranging about the 35 to 36K range. Ethereum still very healthy at 2,245. It's not looking too bad, you guys. It's just that we are still in a massive accumulation phase. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this accumulation phase. Are we heading into a bear market, or are we just going to trend sideways, maybe even to the downside with some dead cat bounces in between, up into this bullish trend towards the middle of summer, which I believe is going to be the start of it, and by the end of the year, fireworks. So let's get into the news, you guys. Boy, like I said, there's a lot to cover. I'm not going to read these articles. I'm going to blow through most of these. There's a few things we're going to highlight on a couple of these, but I found this very interesting. According to, Weiss Ratings. Personally, guys, I think Weiss Ratings is trash. I think it's just another media-armed way for people to get their own opinions out there and to manipulate the market. I don't know if anybody takes Weiss Ratings too seriously, but they do mention a lot of good coins here. It's just that they're kind of a little bit out of context. So Cardano, Polkadot, and 3 altcoins are technologically superior to Ethereum, according to Weiss Ratings. Now, I would agree that Cardano eventually, if they continue to implement all of the things they're doing, which they are on a very good timeline, will eventually be technologically superior to Ethereum. There's a reason why Cardano is my biggest holding, and I believe it's the only one of any of these that technologically will become superior to Ethereum. I think a lot of people are going to port over from Ethereum to Cardano. That is yet to be seen, but we will be talking more about that on this channel. Obviously, let's look at the coins they're talking about here. The latest in the Weiss rating: Cardano, Polkadot, and Tezos. Really, Tezos? I don't think so. Cosmos, Cosmos is doing a lot of good things, but technologically superior to Ethereum? I don't think so. And Phantom. I do like Phantom. I used to hold Phantom a long time ago. I wish I would have kept it because there's a lot of good things going on with Phantom. But to sit here and say that they're technologically superior to Ethereum is hogwash. Like I said, Cardano, in my opinion, is the only one that has a chance to overtake Ethereum. Polkadot is a very robust system, you guys. There's so much going on. All of these parachain auctions that are coming on, being done through Kusama. There's a lot of good projects, altcoin projects on Polkadot that are going to be obtaining these parachains. Look into these things. I don't have time to go over with them on this particular video, but there's a lot going on with that. So I do think that all of these projects are worth holding outside of personally Tezos. I don't think Tezos can compete with these giants here. But I just find it interesting that Weiss Ratings is now starting to do stuff like this. They must have their own agenda attached to that. I don't think people are selling Ethereum because Weiss Ratings come out and said that there's better projects out there. So let's get into the next piece of news because it proves that Ethereum right now still is and is trying to become even better. It's still the top dog as far as altcoins and platforms, in my personal opinion, until Cardano comes and takes that throne from them. Ethereum Upgrade, which will reduce ETH supply, moves into final stages. We all know that Ethereum is going to be hard capped at some point with this new implementation of when their layer 2 finally comes out and they get the EIP 1559, which lowers the amount of Ethereum miners receive. It's still proof of stake. Proof of work, I'm sorry. It's still proof of work. I know they're trying to fix that. But Ethereum eventually will upgrade itself. And when it does, it's still going to be probably the number one go-to for now, and there's a lot of layer 2 projects trying to implement help with Ethereum so they can scale properly. We're not there yet. They're saying that it moves into the final stages, but you guys, this has been going on for a very long time. Y'all know I love Ethereum, I love Cardano, I definitely hold both. There's a reason I hold both. I wouldn't look too much into this and sell everything and go hard into Ethereum, although I think Ethereum is going to run pretty big time on this bull run. But the fact that the London hard fork should be the language ready in July. I don't know. Is it going to? It would be great if it did. If it did, we're going to have, I think this would be good for the bull run because it's going to kick off a lot of the projects that are actually on Ethereum. But it's just news to digest, you guys, because there's always talk on both sides, right? There's always talk on both sides. Now, I want to get into this next article here because it pertains to Ethereum and one of the layer 2 solutions that I'm really, really into. It's Polygon Matic. You guys know I love that. But this is a very interesting article, why gaming could be the next big test for Ethereum and Polygon. I do recommend people, if you're holding either one or both of these, which I think most people should be in their portfolio, not financial advice, just based on market movement. This is a good article to read. It's talking about basically how Polygon is relying on users to perform transactions at a cost, a lower cost than Ethereum. People are playing these games on Polygon instead of Ethereum. Ethereum definitely needs to have its scaling solution fixed, and it needs to get to its layer 2. It needs to take off because people still don't want to pay the fees. The fees are still too high. It's still too high to be using Uniswap for a lot of people, even though the fees have gone down very much. But what I like most about this article was that it's talking a little bit about how Polygon is positioning itself to not have to rely on just Ethereum, because when Ethereum does get to where it's trying to go to, a lot of people are saying, well, what happens to Polygon? Read this article, do some research on Polygon Matic, whether you're invested or not, or if you're thinking about investing, because Polygon's not going anywhere. A lot of people are predicting that Polygon's going to hit $5 once this bull run continues. That is a personal target of mine. I will be selling a decent portion of my Polygon Matic at that price, and I will be keeping some for the long haul. I think there's some that I will never sell, but there's a lot of interesting things in this article to read if you guys are into those kinds of things. Now let's keep moving. Like I said, I'm going to try and go through these quickly because here we have a little bit of contradictory news reports. This is very interesting. Bitcoin whales quietly accumulate 100,000 million, 3.380 billion in BTC in less than 1 month. So the whales are accumulating. We all know that this is happening. I mean, these are the kinds of things you can find out on the blockchain. I find it very interesting that a lot of people that hold a lot of Bitcoin are just swooping up more Bitcoin, which is exactly why Bitcoin can only go down so far for so long, because there are too many people with a whole lot of money that want to gobble up all the Bitcoin they possibly can. We're going to go through a little bit of this article because I want to remind you guys something that they don't talk about in this article. Whales are busy buying Bitcoin. Now, the price of the crypto has dropped from an all-time high of nearly 65,000 to below 40,000. Yes, people are accumulating under 40,000 big time. According to the crypto analytics firm Sentiment, Bitcoin addresses holding from 100 to 10,000 BTC added a total of 90,000 Bitcoin in the last 25 days, currently valued at 3.38 billion. The firm says the group of BTC holders now accounts for nearly half of the circulating supply of the benchmark cryptocurrency. So it's not as decentralized as we'd like it to be, because basically the rich are getting richer, especially in their holdings of Bitcoin. They're saying that half of the supply is in the hands of pretty much a few people. They now hold a 7-week high of 9.11 million BTC. We all know there's only 21 million that will ever be minted, worth a total of $366.89 billion at this time, and 48.7% of the total Bitcoin supply. Now, don't forget, you guys, there are anywhere estimated between 3 to upwards, I've heard as high as 6. I don't think it's quite that high, but I think it's probably in the 3 to 4.5, maybe 5 million range of Bitcoin that are lost forever. We cannot get them back. The way Bitcoin was created dictates that we cannot reproduce in any way, shape, or form those lost Bitcoin. This article does not mention that. And it's not a fact as to what that number is, but estimates of people who have done a lot of research are saying on the low end it's 3 million. On the high end, 5 to 6 million. So if half the supply is already being owned by whales, and the other 3-4 million Bitcoin are lost forever, think about the scarcity of Bitcoin and what that does, and why there are people who know what they're doing that are putting all of their money, everything they can scrape together, into Bitcoin on these dips. Pay attention. The news would like you to think negatively because the news is not geared for the retail players like you and I. They want all of our crypto because they want to be the future people who control the world. It is a power play, guys. It's a power play. You can only have so much money in this world. You can only buy so many things in this world. When people have a lot of money, their next step and they want to have is power, control, and influence. Never forget that. Now, let's go back to this article because this is contradictory to what we just read. Bulls hesitate to buy the dip after Bitcoin price falls close to 35K. I'll read that again. Bulls hesitate to buy the dip after Bitcoin price falls close to 35K. What bulls? The retail bulls. I'm bullish. I'm not buying any Bitcoin right now because I'm happy where I'm at with all of my holdings. But I don't have much to say about this except read the previous article that I just pulled up because that is not true. I don't know why they want to put out these kinds of things because it just shakes out the weak hands, and there's a lot of weak hands because there's a lot of new investors in crypto. This is why I make videos. I want you guys to be careful. Read all of the news. Deep dive into everything you possibly can so you can understand what you're investing in. Next piece of news. I find this bullish. Again, I am obviously with my accent, I am a Southern Californian, USA resident, born and raised. And I like to see good things happen in my country pertaining to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because we all know that the United States has been lagging behind in regulations. They've been lagging behind in innovations. And now that all of this stuff in China, this mining stuff is starting to fall apart, it's starting to spread out throughout the world. And I want to see more of it come to the United States. And so when I see things like this, Texas crypto users will soon be able to buy and sell tokens at major supermarket chain. That's mass adoption. That is very, very, very good. Texas is also, and the reason why I went on that rant before I read this header here was because Texas is very pro-mining Bitcoin. They're trying to grow. They were one of the first people, the first states in the union to really be pro-crypto to a certain extent and invite mining. There's a huge mining farm down there already and probably a lot more to come. So I find it interesting that Texas crypto users will soon be able to buy and sell their tokens at major supermarket chain. I have not read this article yet, so what is that major chain? Let's go see here. HEB supermarkets. I've been through Texas, never really been there to hang out, so I don't know what HEB supermarkets are, but it says it's a major chain. They're talking about BTC, Ethereum, we'll skip over that, Litecoin, and certain DeFi tokens and US dollar-pegged stablecoins. Yes, they want to create a system where the stable coins are accepted and also the CBDCs that will be coming out. They want to, there's a lot of benefits for people, especially for tax purposes, for stuff like that. So I guess I should read this on my private time here. Just wanted to point it out to you guys that there are things happening that are good. And it does kind of tie in a little bit with this. China's crackdown on Bitcoin mining has probably already made the network greener for now. Yes, I do believe that. I don't really need to read this article because I read news articles on the daily. That's what I do now. We needed Bitcoin mining to be more decentralized away from China. Now, China being a communist country doesn't exactly have probably the best environmental rules. I don't think that they care so much about what it's doing to their environment. It's just that they want to control their population. They want to control the wealth of their population. And so they're cracking down on Bitcoin mining. And what's happening, it's starting to spread out throughout the world. So there are other places in the world that care so much more about doing things in a way that does not affect the environment. If we look at what El Salvador is doing, they implemented BTC as another accepted global currency in their country, and they're talking about already, having their volcanoes power their mining, which is a good thing. So I just wanted to point out this article because these are the things that you're going to continue to see in the news, and we want to see these kinds of things because we want decentralized mining for Bitcoin, and of course we want it to be beneficial for the earth because although it does use a lot of electricity and a lot of power and all those things, it's been blown way out of proportion, and it's kind of hurt Bitcoin's growth for a little while because a lot of people have gotten behind that movement because we all know that the people that are really deep into that kind of stuff will target anything that they think has an issue or is bad for the environment. So yes, we can make improvements on Bitcoin. These things are coming in the future, and to see something that used to be considered FUD with China cracking down on Bitcoin mining is now starting to become a global thing where there's more disbursement, and that's a beautiful thing. Speaking of disbursement, into this next article, the Miami mayor, this guy is a forward-thinking man, tries to entice China's Bitcoin miners. We want you to be here. Don't need to read the article. It's just very interesting that he's coming out and saying this. He's in obviously favor of the same thing I just discussed in the few minutes before this. They're trying to invite people, especially Chinese miners. I don't know the legalities of that, but it's very interesting that we're already starting to see these kinds of things start to happen. So I'm going to get on to the next piece of news here, which I find actually very it's true. It's just that it's based on things that produce fear in people like you and I. Strengthening dollar leads to sell-off in stocks, gold, and cryptos. Market wrap-up. If you notice, guys, gold and silver is going down. The stock market plunged like 533 points today, and we all know that the crypto market is still in a downwards trend. Now, the strengthening dollar is the question I have, because the dollar to me is about as strong as this piece of toilet paper, this roll of toilet paper. The dollar is being printed into oblivion. How the dollar is getting stronger, I have no idea, because all I see in this country is the cost of everything going up and going up rapidly. We are experiencing inflation at a rapid rate. Now, will that lead to hyperinflation? I don't know. I don't know what kind of policies they will implement. I think that they're going to eventually have to create those CBDCs. They want to do some sort of market reset. They're going to have to. We're $30 trillion in debt in this nation, which is a historical all-time high. There's nothing good that is going to come out of the fact that the dollar is continuing to being print, or should I just say in the digital age at this point, typed into absolute oblivion. So what is it doing, you guys? It's affecting the markets, right? So let me ask you a question. If everything's struggling at once, where would you like your investments to be? I know most of you here watching this channel probably want to put it in Bitcoin and altcoins and the crypto market. I do believe holding physical gold and silver is always a very, very good idea, and I do believe in having a little bit of cash on hand just in case you need to wipe your butt. I mean, you need to, like say the grid goes down or whatever in an extreme scenario, and you can't use your credit cards, you can't use your Bitcoin, you can't really use your gold and silver. So yes, the dollar still has its place for right now, but in a very minuscule amount, just enough to get you by in those instances. But if everything's going to go down, and if everything's going to go down at once, including the dollar, including gold and silver, including the stock market, including cryptos, I still want my money in cryptocurrency, predominantly the majority of my investments in cryptocurrency, because when the reset happens and when everything kind of just comes back to base ground, I think that the cryptocurrencies are going to be the ones that come back the hardest, because the stock market's going to get hit harder than the crypto market. Like I said, the dollar is still being printed into oblivion. Gold and silver still very, very heavily manipulated because of the paper market. So what do you think is going to rise from the ashes, you guys? And I believe that Bitcoin was designed for this ahead of time. They know what's coming. These things are always planned. Nothing in the world is what it seems. The people that are here to protect us are the most nefarious people on the planet, the most greedy people on the planet. They will do anything to hang on to their power, their wealth, and their control. And they know that the digital age is going to actually give them new ways to overreach their power and their control for taxation and all kinds of these things like that. Bitcoin will rise from the ashes of the massive economic destruction that is basically upon us here at any time. Things are going to be happening early in this decade, maybe by next year, maybe by the year after. We still have the pandemic going on right now that could actually cause a lot of problems if they start to do more shutdowns. So what I'm trying to say is these things are all by design. And since I understand that on a technical level and on an economic level, I'm going to continue to have most of my offerings into the cryptocurrency market, because that's the one I believe in. That's the one I think has the most to gain once the dust settles. So one more piece of news here before I go on my billionaire rant. I've been paying close attention to this because it's very, very important what's going on with XRP. I've talked about it a few times in my videos before. We want to see XRP win its battle with the SEC. And for right now, for what I understand from the research I'm doing, things are looking good. It's not something that's going to happen tomorrow, but I do believe that XRP will win its case. And when it does, I think the asset itself will do very well. I think it'll be very, very good for the entire altcoin market as well, because it's not just about XRP, you guys. There's a lot of people who hate XRP, and if they do their homework, they would see that they really don't need to. It's been painted in a bad light. I actually see XRP having the ability and Ripple to replace the legacy system, so that would be a good thing. Quicker transactions, people wouldn't have to be waiting so long for their money. Money remittance is tens and tens of trillions of dollars, maybe even hundreds of trillions of dollars yearly. So I don't have any hate for XRP. I don't hold any right now because I sold it all when this whole thing first started. I'm glad I did because it dropped. But the fact that I think, like I said, they are going to win their case is going to be good. But this is the thing here. Not just XRP. Legal expert says SEC could target 2 additional altcoins. That's the problem. If XRP gets toppled, it's game on. It's open season on altcoins, you guys. And that would be the kind of thing that would certainly plunge us into a bear market. These are very serious things that are going on, so pay attention to what's going on. You don't have to hold XRP to be interested in what's going on. I have not read this article, but I want to see what else it is that they could be targeting. U.S. Attorney Jeremy Hogan says he believes the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission may target 2 additional altcoins after launching its battle with payments giant Ripple over the alleged illegal sale of XRP as an unregistered security. Hogan cautions that it's stablecoins. I see. Stablecoin Tether USDT could find itself in the crosshairs of the SEC for misleading the market that its dollar peg token was fully backed. A lot of controversy over that. There's a lot. Some people ignore it. Some people are afraid of it. It would take a while for that to unravel. But if the SEC targeted the US dollar Tether, imagine as the biggest stablecoin in the world, what that would do. Very, very dangerous times. Now, I'm not fear-mongering at all. I'm just saying, pay attention to what's going on because these things are very important. What happens over here can certainly affect your holdings over here. Everything's tied together. That's just the way it is. I don't know what else it says it's targeting because I have not pre-read this, but it looks like he's saying Binance Coin, BNB is in danger too. Another top dog. Binance already is having its problems. I'm not super well versed on that because I don't hold any BNB, but I do use Binance US. So if XRP gets toppled and Tether starts getting investigated and BNB starts getting investigated and all these things happen, at that point, I think I would be planning an exit strategy for the most part, going into either a stable coin or probably heavily into gold and silver and just kind of waiting the market out. But I don't think that's going to happen. That's the good news. I just don't see that happening, you guys. I think Ripple's going to win its lawsuit. I think XRP is going to absolutely skyrocket after that. And I think it's going to be clear sailing, and I think the crypto market is going to recover, and it's going to recover big. It's going to establish itself as the next global asset that needs to be regulated in the right ways and is a safe place to be, because once the trillions start pouring in, it won't be manipulated so easily, and we won't be having such fluctuations in prices, and I think more people will be drawn into it, and we will continue with the mass adoption. Last piece of news here. This is not new news. I just avoided talking about it, but we're going to talk about it here a little bit today. Well, here's the thing. I kind of like Mark Cuban. I also kind of don't. Another billionaire. These guys are all the billionaire clubbers. These guys all have their things that they do. I find it interesting that Mark Cuban says key sector of crypto markets may need to be regulated. We all know that there was a hit on the man's ego, and he lost some sort of $15 million or something because he was getting himself so deep and so quickly into DeFi. He probably doesn't quite understand it as much as he pretends to, and I don't, so I'm not going to pretend to because I don't actually do DeFi, yield mining, yield farming, or any of that stuff. But what I want to talk about here is the fact that the big baby lost $15 million because he didn't do his homework. And now he's crying and he's saying that everything should be regulated, and typical of a billionaire, because these guys think that they run the show, and most of them actually do, but especially the influencers like Mark Cuban and like I'm drawing a blank here, Elon Musk, the muskrat, right? These guys love attention, they love control, they love influence, and now if I were him personally, I'd be embarrassed by this, but I don't even think that maybe he was the one who decided to really do this. He's got a whole team of advisors, and somebody probably got fired over this. I don't know, but it is news now. And so now the big baby's calling for regulation. So I think that things do need to be regulated at some point to some degree. I am in favor of regulation, just not over-regulation and over-taxation. I don't even want to read this article. I just like ranting on billionaires, and it's my channel. I can do that. So I don't have anything more to say here. Throat's getting a little bit dry. Like I said, there's a lot more news. I may be even making another video tonight. There's a couple things I want to talk about, not news-related, strictly altcoin-related. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who made it to the end, give me a hoorah, a thumbs up, and share this with somebody, because I think people need to understand what's going on without someone here who has an agenda to influence you or to make money from you particularly, or to show your buy bits, or to talk about crap coins going to the moon just so I can get views. So help me grow this channel, you guys. It's up to you, and I really appreciate it, all of you, especially those of you who have been with me for a long time. Join the Telegram below. There's a lot of great people in there, you guys. Ask questions, especially for new people. Everyone's very interactive there, and you can get a lot of help from those people, including myself. So, peace.